You want to know why you're still broke? Why you're working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? I'm about to shatter every excuse you've been telling yourself. This is going to hurt, but pain is the only thing that creates change. I'm Professor Chalkman, and I don't care about your feelings. I care about your future. Let me tell you about the day I discovered why poor people stay poor, and why you might be trapped in the same damn cycle without even knowing it. Picture this: 1967. I'm 19 years old, working construction in Texas, dumb as a rock and twice as stubborn. I'm busting my back for $3 an hour, thinking I'm making good money because it was more than my dad ever made. One scorching afternoon, this old-timer named Frank pulls me aside. He's been watching me work like a maniac, sweat pouring down my face, trying to impress the foreman. Frank holds up two coins, a 1967 dime and a 1963 dime. "Kid," he says, "which one's worth more?" I'm thinking this guy's lost his mind. "They're both 10 cents, Frank." He just laughs. That laugh still haunts me today. "Son, this 1963 dime is 90% silver. This 1967 dime, it's copper and nickel. Worthless metal wrapped in a pretty package." That moment, that one moment, changed my entire life. Frank explained something that schools will never teach you. Something your parents don't understand. Something that separates the rich from the poor forever. He called it the Great Money Lie. In 1965, the government quietly switched our money from real silver to fake metal. They kept the same size, same design, same face value, but they stole the substance. And you know what happened? Nobody noticed. People kept accepting the fake coins like they were real. They celebrated getting paid in money that was worth less than what their parents earned. That's when it hit me like a freight train. Poor people can't tell the difference between real value and fake value. They get excited about a pay raise from $15 to $20 an hour, not realizing that $20 today buys what $5 bought when their grandparents were young. They think their savings account with 0.2% interest is keeping them safe, while inflation steals 10% of their wealth every single year. They believe their boss when he says, "We can't afford raises right now," while that same boss drives home in a car worth more than they'll make in 5 years. Frank taught me something that day that made me angry. Really, truly furious. He said, "Kid, there are two types of people in this world. Those who understand this game, and those who get played by it." So what did I do? I got obsessed. Every paycheck, instead of running to the bar like my coworkers, I'd hit every bank in town. I'd buy rolls of dimes, quarters, and half dollars. I'd sort through them like my life depended on it. The silver ones, those went into a bag under my bed. The copper ones, back to the bank. My buddies thought I was crazy. Why are you wasting time with old coins when you could be out having fun? Because while they were spending their fake money on temporary pleasure, I was accumulating real wealth. Within 2 years, I had accumulated over 50 pounds of pure silver. 50 pounds. When I started, silver was trading at about $2 an ounce. Today, over $30 an ounce. But here's the part that'll make you sick. I didn't get rich because silver went up. I got rich because the dollar went down. Way, way down. That construction job paying $3 an hour? In today's fake money, that would need to be about $45 an hour just to have the same purchasing power. Are construction workers making $45 an hour today? Hell no. They're making 15, maybe 20 if they're lucky, and they think they're doing better than I was in 1967. This is the lie that keeps people poor. They measure their success in numbers instead of purchasing power. You think you're winning when your salary goes from $50,000 to $60,000. But that $60,000 today buys what $40,000 bought just 5 years ago. You're working harder for money that's worth less, and you're grateful for it. That's not success. That's slavery with extra steps. Here's what really makes me furious. The people who understand this game, the people who own real assets, they get richer every time the government prints more fake money. When they flood the market with worthless paper, the price of everything real goes up. Silver, gold, land, businesses, art, collectibles, everything with actual value. So the rich who own these assets get wealthier. The poor who work for paychecks and keep their money in banks get poorer. It's not an accident. It's not bad luck. It's designed this way. The system is rigged, but not in the way you think. It's not rigged against hard workers. It's rigged against people who don't understand the game. You can work 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, but if you're playing by the wrong rules, you'll never win. I learned this lesson the hard way when I was 23. I'd been collecting silver for 4 years. I had this massive stash of real money hidden away. I felt rich. I felt smart. Then my little sister Sarah found my silver collection. She thought it was the most ridiculous thing she'd ever seen. Why are you hoarding old coins when you could put this money in the bank and earn interest? Against my better judgment, I listened to her. I sold half my silver collection and put the money in a high-yield savings account earning 4% interest. 4% sounded great in 1973. But you know what inflation was that year? 12%. I was losing 8% of my purchasing power every single year, and the bank was calling it a favor. Meanwhile, the silver I sold doubled in price within 18 months. That mistake cost me decades of wealth, but it taught me the most valuable lesson of my life. Never ever let poor people give you advice about money. I don't care if they're family. I don't care if they love you. I don't care if they have good intentions. Poor people give poor advice. Always. They'll tell you to play it safe. They'll tell you to be grateful for what you have. They'll tell you that money isn't everything. But here's what they won't tell you. Money might not be everything, but being broke limits everything else. You can't help your family if you're struggling. You can't pursue your dreams if you're working 3 jobs just to pay rent. You can't make a difference in the world if you're drowning in debt. The people who say money isn't everything are usually the ones who don't have any. So here's what I want you to understand, and I want you to understand it right now. The game hasn't changed since 1967. They're still printing fake money. They're still devaluing your labor. They're still transferring wealth from workers to asset owners. The only question is, which side are you going to be on? Are you going to keep playing their game by their rigged rules, working harder for money that's worth less every year? Or are you going to learn what Frank taught me that day in Texas? Are you going to start accumulating real wealth instead of fake numbers in a bank account? Are you going to stop measuring your success by your salary and start measuring it by your net worth in actual assets? The choice is yours. But understand this. Every day you wait, every day you make excuses, every day you tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow, you're falling further behind. The gap between those who understand this game and those who don't is getting wider every single year. And once that gap gets too wide, it becomes impossible to cross. So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep being a victim of the system, or are you going to master it? The decision you make right now, in this moment, will determine whether you spend the rest of your life getting richer or getting poorer. There's no middle ground. There's no standing still. You're either moving forward or falling behind. Choose wisely. This is Professor Chalkman, and class is never dismissed when your financial future is on the line.